Welcome to Factorio Angels Recap. My name is Ninos, and this is the third episode of our recap here on YouTube of our streaming series that I'm conducting on Twitch. So this is the recap of another 12 hours of progress on my Angels Bob's base that I'm streaming every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on Twitch at 8 p.m. Central European Time, Central European summertime, that is. And this is now after 7 episodes, so another 12 hours have passed. And yeah, since it's Angels, things are not progressing very fast. But I'm quite happy with what I have achieved, but I'm not happy about the structure of it. So let's go review some of the things. One of the things that we have added as recently is automation for the vehicle, because I am the worst driver. I'm of course going to blame it on the truck, the latency, the turning circle, the power bolts jumping in the way, but there is now a way for me to avoid all of this. Let's start by driving over here. This is part of AAI. I'm not going to use AAI for much. I'm just going to use it for just a few things, such as, okay, there we go, that's better. Such as for this one, for the automatic driving, because I can drive some of the way, but this one just seems better. Oh, I will just take one of the things that we were working on up here. Oh no, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Alright, let me just ignore that for a second. Yeah, okay. Because these are now going to run away. Anyway, so we built like this small military science. It's not really needed in any way, shape or form, but I do need just a bit of military science. I am considering and probably going to remove all the biters from the base, because they don't really serve a purpose. So I don't really want to engage with biters in this playthrough at all. It's an Angels playthrough. It's supposed to be about the designs and stuff, but yeah, so no point in doing anything else. Alright, so we can see here, those are things we have before. So we got a bit of military science coming in. The hub has been expanded, which is just going to keep going, and there's a new spawn of rubite here. It's not going to be used very much, but it's there now, so that should be fine. Now down here, last time we had tin, we had iron, and we had toasts. So now we've added a few more. The structure is going to be exactly the same. I'm just going to turn off the vehicle here. We've done a few more things, such as steel. I'm quite happy with this. This works really well. This is also like pure steel coming in, or pure iron coming in, which means we're now getting, oh, it's kind of loud, we just back off a bit. We're getting gibbelite and sapphirite coming in, and mixing it with some mineral catalyst. Now mineral catalyst is something we're going to have to look at, just a glance at how that's being done. But the point is that if you mix two of these and add some catalyst, then you can get pure iron ore. And I want to do that for all of them. I want to do pure what are they called? Pure sorting? Yeah, let's say call it pure sorting. Pure sorting for everything from now on. That's I think that'll give us a lot of flexibility, so that we have up here we have the plate thing, and then down here we can have the ore thing. And then they'll generally go straight up, but some of them will be combined. And that's gonna be thing. So also another thing we've been started working on, as you can see here, it's coming in just like that. This is silicon coming in. Silicon is a residual from our non-pure smelting of bobmonium, which gives us here some silicon and some tin and some residuals. And the silicon is brought in here to a more advanced silicon. This is one of the more advanced recipes, because it now goes, first you have to make something called monosilicon seed. We don't know what that is, but it's a thing that goes up, and that has to go in here together with some to get the monosilicon seed together, and that makes the monosilicon. All right, which goes here, and then we have apparently that thing here. Oop. And they go back in. Well, yeah. So this silicon is needed for. Let's think about it. Let's go up here. Silicon. That one is going to, this is the only thing you can do with the monosilicon. It can make into wafers, but it's higher compression as monosilicon, so we keep it as monosilicon until we need it in wafer form. The wafer form is needed for transistors and integrated other things. but basically it's mainly used for that. So that's another thing. We have the steel coming in very nicely. We have some monosilicon we have on the other side. I'm just going to switch this on and then go over on this side. Then we can go over. Oh, green. It has to be green. I'll try to drive this as much manually or as much automated as possible. This one's also interesting. This is the residual of our coal. There's not much left, but there's a bit. Now this vehicle will run you over if you step in front of it while it's on automatic mode. It does not see people well. It's like a Tesla in that regard. It can see power poles, but it can't see people. Wow. Here comes lawsuit. Actually, I think it can. Anyway, only one way to find out. This is a thing that we spent like an ungodly amount of time designing, but I am really happy about it. So the objective is, we'll start from the objective. The objective is make mineral catalyst. Mineral catalyst come from mineral sludge, and then we sort of trace back, and mineral sludge is coming from here, coming from slag slurry plus pure water plus a filter. That means we now have to deal with water, a filter, and also wastewater. So then we just go the main road. Main road comes here. We have some slag slurry. Slag slurry comes from crushed stone, because all of these processes here are generating a lot of crushed stone. We still have 65,000 crushed stone, and by getting it in here, I can convert it into mineral sludge. What is it called? Mineral catalyst, which is a very valuable ingredient and very much needed. And I take my completely useless one. The thing is, this is pretty much self-sustaining. No, it is self-sustaining, because even though this one requires a bit of sulfuric acid, the idea is that this one goes around. We take the wastewater in. The wastewater goes over here. This gets processed, becomes sulfuric wastewater purification. Gives one of these, gives a tiny bit of sulfur. This is interesting because I have to request something in the beginning to keep the loop going, but once the loop is going, it has a microscopic improvement, or a microscopic called like net positive. So this one will over time accrue. You can see it started by requesting 1000, but now it's actually further up. Now the sulfur goes in here and becomes sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide becomes sulfuric acid, and then goes back. And that is exactly the wastewater is enough to convert back in here, plus a tiny surplus, as I said. The water, we have some here. This becomes a 70% purified water. The mineral water I just ditch. Also, we have some water coming in here that's also going to be purified. This one is a top-up valve, which means that it only flows through when this content is less than 80% full. You can see here it's slightly above 80%, it's 85%. And then when it drops below 80%, this one just pours in. So you'll never have this backlogging. And the mineral just goes away, and the saline water just goes away. They clarify it. So that's just gets... And that means we have this loop here. All it takes is an abundance of crushed stone coming in. Takes a bit of coal coming in, and then the net positive output is a lot of mineral catalyst and a tiny bit of sulfur. Very nice. Now down here we have a little copper build. It's basically we needed some copper here, or we had some copper, and now we have a dedicated copper build. It's very simple, just to have a little oxygen added here. So this is one of the things we have to consider, that every time we have several places like there, and this one also has oxygen, and that one has oxygen. Some have nitrogen, actually. Now the next most impressive and nice thing we have built so far in the base is what we're coming up to here. This one took a long time to design, but it works really well. It's a nice little unit. It's pretty much working at ratio all the way through, so that's quite nice. Now over here, this is our plastic build. I wanted to do plastic without the need to go into petrochemicals, because there's just petrochemicals is just really painful and in Angels. So all of this is going through a loop that says, all right, first we have some greenhouses. The greenhouses are producing wood. But they're producing trees. Trees get converted into wood with the use of some timber saws. Oh, not sauce. Pouring some of this on your food. That's gonna go be nice. And that goes out here. First loop around will be converting into more seeds. This will always take something so that we have a full saturation of seeds here. Then it goes out. Each row here produces 7.5 net. So 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5. That's 30 inbound. Goes into 2 belts. That's going to be 30 outbound as well. That goes in here, becomes wood, becomes cellulose at a ratio of 1 to 2. Cellulose can go in here and become methanol gas. That's a pretty good recipe. Also, this is perfect ratio. It's kind of nice. Not just a bit nice, but really nice. And then it goes over here on this side. Goes into steam crackers where we have synthesis propene, where methanol becomes propene. And it just has a tiny residual gas. The residual gas... sorry, the steam comes in here, and the residual gas is not really used for anything, but it is just at this moment put into a box. Not a box, but it's a pressure tank. This one will be highly useful when we need to make lubricant, so that's an ingredient for lubricant. Plus, when we have the ability to make it into synthesis gas, we can do that and then make it into basically whatever we want. Now, the propene can be made into plastic at a very inefficient rate, and liquid plastic can be made into normal plastic, and that goes in here. So it doesn't produce much. This whole thing produces, I think it's about 6 plastic per second, so that would be nothing. But it's certainly, it's basically free. The only thing it takes as input is a tiny bit of iron. I don't even know how much it is, but it's very, very little iron. So this is basically plastic for free. And this is a really nice build. Everything is built at ratio. And yeah, it just fits so nicely. Now, we have a few more things we have built in the space. So let's go on a long journey down here. As we go there, then we can talk about sort of what is upcoming. The next project will be the expansion of more plates, but also down here, expanding down here to make more ore based, so that we get pure copper, pure iron, pure tin, pure more iron, pure silicon, and just get it in here so that we can start having the robots transfer it. The big issue, or the big topic here, is working towards the ECBs, electronic circuit boards. This is basically the equivalent of red circuits, and it opens up a lot of tech, including blue science. And so that's going to be the major milestone up ahead, and that will open blue science. When blue science is going, then we'll finally have the base really working again and consuming a lot of things. The thing with angels that you need to keep in mind is that there are so many different things that, even though something like iron that you normally use like in stupid quantities, you don't really need iron in that high quantities in angel space, because there are so many other ingredients as well. So it's basically more about as just in a normal build, you don't really need 4 full lanes of iron just smashing through. But on the other hand, you need some tin, and you need some solder, and you need some silicon, you need some steel, and you need some all these weird things. Oak and coal and carbon and wood. So there's a lot of other things that you need that don't in itself consume a lot of materials, but they are a lot of different things. So quantities are not very high that they're being needed, at least not yet. So we have some things on here. This is sort of the angels washing part. It's a bit pretty horrible to set up, but it's one of those, when you set it up, you're just gonna be like, that's nice. So what it does is this one is making clay bricks. Clay bricks are kind of needed for a lot of recipes if we just look at tier 2 recipes. So generally tier 1 recipes require stone bricks, generally tier 2 recipes require clay bricks. So you need clay bricks in order to get to the tier 2, to the red machines. Really nice, and we want the red machines, so we need clay bricks. This is not perfect ratio, to say the least, but it's something. All of these things are just built so that they are active, and then nothing more. This one as well is a bit of a funky one. This is set up to make... Go a bit away from some of the very noisy parts here. Okay, everything's just very noisy, especially those electrolyzers are very noisy. Now this is the whole washing process that takes mud water coming in with a seafloor plump. Comes, what is it? viscous mud water goes in and becomes heavy mud water, becomes light, becomes concentrated mud water, becomes light mud water, becomes thin mud water, becomes salt water. Salt water can then be electrolyzed, and that gives us sodium hydroxide, which is something we need for blue science, and it gives us the ability to take the electrolyzed chlorine and hydrogen and put it back together instead of making salt water, then making it into hydrogen chloride gas and HCl. That's some pretty acidic stuff. So we put it in a tank, and at this point I'm just flaring the rest of it because I just want this one to keep going to fill this one as much as possible, because we need like an infinite amount. So this is just a nice way of just building. You can also just flare this, but this will be used for it's called ferric chloride solution, where we add iron and then this. And ferric chloride solution is used for circuit boards. Circuit boards are used for our electronic circuit boards. So those are some of the upcoming things. And I just started this in advance so that it could start creating a lot of sodium hydroxide, which is something we absolutely need tons of. And that's going to be it. So that's a big part of what we've done over the last week on this series. So I feel that there's a good track forward. It's still an absolute unstructured mess. But it's my thing. Oh my god, that's a huge spider in here. Spider biter. Yeah, I'm gonna need to. It's closer to my mouse. I need to stop recording. All right, thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Where the hell is it? Bye. Stay safe. Bye.